Zoom is all about you. It's about leading from a different perspective. And certainly everybody wants to build wealth or wants to be successful, and you want to lead because you want to serve the people properly who are following you. Today it's all about, if someone chooses to follow you, why should they continue, right? And if any of you ever heard of the book by John Maxwell, Different Levels of Leadership, it's called The Levels of Leadership, 5 levels of leadership. One of those levels is productivity and performance, which is key. See, many people can choose to marry you, but oftentimes in less than the first year, they decide, I don't want to be here. This person just sits around all day. They're non-productive. I don't want that kind of a life. And they're out. What happens in business too? There are people who will say yes to you, who will join you in business only to find out it is the last place that they want to be. They're so used to it in their other part of the world, of life, where they're productive. Productive meaning they're producing an outcome, a desired outcome. And here's where it gets real scary for a lot of you, and I know that. Where being busy should justify why people should follow you, and it's not enough. Being busy should justify working so hard and not coming out with an outcome. And this is where people get a little crazy, where they believe, well, I should get paid more because I've been busy or I've worked here longer. And the truth is, you should be rewarded based on your productivity and performance, regardless of when you got to the table. So, as we do this one today, as I get ready to share my slides and present to you, I want you to note that there's probably no greater message that someone can give you at this time of your life than the one who understands the importance of producing like no one else. It's David Ramsey, the great financial guru, who says, live like no one else so you can live like no one else. I'm going to tell you that it is certainly a good thing if you could learn to produce like no one else, which one of the outcomes will be that you can live like no one else. Not just, wait a second, let me get my slide back. Yeah. So now that I've said that, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my slides. Now, there may be some that come in and will open their mic up. I will invite you to open up your mic when it's time to talk so that we can actually engage with each other. My sharing screen is paused. I don't want to pause it. How did that happen? Can you guys see my screen? You can't. It's okay to open your mic now.
No, I can't see it.
Okay, let me go ahead and stop and try it again. How about now? Nope, not yet.
Matter of fact, you were frozen.
In time.
You're frozen.
You're
now we can.
You're frozen in time, Mr. Golden. Yes, you are. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Now I think I can get there. That's that one. Good. Okay, good. Okay, got you. I just needed to see where it was. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get back there again. If you could bear with me. And share screen here. This is a real bit troublesome. Cam, 1 second. I'm going to get there. And am I still frozen?
No, we can see your screen now.
Thank you. That's what I want.
There you go.
Fantastic. You've made my day. So today's Zoom, today's presentation is all about how to produce like no one else. And what happens when you do that? And I'm going to talk a little bit about that before I go into our first slide. I'm going to tell you something. Many of you believe that people only see you for the fact that you're a woman or a man, or that you're tall or short, or that you're balding like me, or maybe that your nose is wide like mine or pointy like someone else's. Many of you didn't even know it. At a young age, we became self-conscious of the things that people may have made fun of or made us uncomfortable about. But I'm here to tell you that the one thing that people can hear so loudly that they can't hear your voice is your production, what you're doing. By the way, can you mute your mics? I'm getting a lot of clinking and clacking. Please mute your mic. There you go. So, That being said, you have to understand that this idea of producing, it's one that can create separation from those things that make you different. And I'm glad of that. You know why I'm glad of that? Because I'm not a big, tall guy. I'm not a big, strong man, right? I'm a short feller. I'm about 5'7", right? And I don't have the healthy head of hair I had in my 20s. In fact, I'm not that bright. I failed traditional education a few times. I was put in special classes, so I needed something that could differentiate for me so I can have a good life. And the things I needed to differentiate myself was in this area of production. And by producing like no one else, I was able to create a life that was different than my peers or different than like most others. What can this mean for you as an entrepreneur in the business that you're doing or the businesses that you're managing? And yeah, when you're a productive person, you'll find down the road, it's very hard to be one-dimensional. You will find yourself having multiple businesses. Now, I know people teach multiple streams of income, and for people who attempt to get that without ever becoming productive, what a waste of time to create multiple streams of income that are all of them combined are less than your worst job. It doesn't make sense. But you can certainly start off by producing. Today, that's what this presentation is all about. So produce like no one else, so you can live like no one else. What's that look like? Well, the first thing I want to talk about is you have to fight for the production. And it's a fight. When I say fight, I'm talking fight. Today, while we're on this stream, while we're talking on Zoom, some of you are fighting already to keep your head above water. You're not sure how you're going to pay the next bill. You're fighting. Some of you are fighting to keep your relationship alive. It's all but dead, right? It has no heartbeat, no pulse. You're doing all you can between you and the other person. Some of you are tired of fighting. So while you're fighting for your financial life, you're fighting for your relational life, and you're fighting for your voice to be heard, you're exhausted. Now you're asking me to produce, Dwayne. How do I produce? How do I fight for this production when I got these other things to fight? Well, one thing that's for sure is that if you don't like how life is now, just wait a few minutes and it's going to change. Sometimes the fight is reduced. Sometimes the fight's enhanced, but there's always going to be a fight. And because there is, you have to begin with the personal fight. How do I make me more productive? Well, I'm trying to produce for my team, and I'm trying to produce an outcome of income. How do I make me better? Let me tell you something. One of the best things you could ever do in this personal fight is to grow your mind. You have to grow it by taking more in today that you had yesterday so you could be better. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm talking about a real fight, not a fake fight. Some of you, anybody here ever been in a fight? Any of you guys ever been in a fight? If you're on YouTube or Facebook or something like that, anywhere, wherever you are, have you been in a fight? If you've been in a fight, type in number 3 or tell me. Do you know what happens when you're in a fight, ladies and gentlemen? When you're in a fight, all of a sudden you don't feel anything. The entire world has stopped. The only thing happening is you and yourself in that fight. You don't even feel the punches when you're getting them. You're just going at it. You're at high adrenaline, fight or flight, and you're zooming. You're going at it. You may be getting beat up. It doesn't matter. The whole world's slowed down. It's going like in slow motion. And you're in this thing. You're getting punched. And if you were stabbed, you don't even, honest to goodness, you don't even feel it. You're going at it. And I'm talking about a fight like that. Now, I'm going to tell you something. One of the things that helped me to beat over to produce is having a family, a wife and children, parents, siblings. And I knew my fight couldn't just be for me, but I had to be in this personal fight so I could be strong enough for them. And because of that fight, I went at it. I didn't care what people thought. I didn't feel it. I didn't care what bill collector was coming. If they're going to evict me, then so be it. I'm going at it. If they're going to call me names and call me a scammy, if whatever they're going to do, I can't get caught up in that. I'm in a fight for the people I love most. And in that fight, I'm willing to fight to death. That's me. I don't know what you're willing to do for the people you love. I know about me. In order to produce, I'm willing to fight until my heart stops. to my I have no more respirations, no more pulse. That's what I'm willing to do. So that personal fight means whatever it takes. As a younger man, I remember in order to fight for production, when I have over 300 staples in my legs, I have a catheter in my chest for blood transfusions and feedings, I would decide I was going to go to college. I don't know anything. I need to learn something. And in my personal fight for development, I had to go learn some things. I remember in network marketing, when I first started it, I don't know, people are going to call me, they're going to say I'm a part of some scam or Ponzi. They're going to say all kinds of mean things about me, but I had to produce. I had children who were approaching graduation in high school. I have a youngest one who's approaching middle school. I had a wife of 20 plus years. I had a future, and I couldn't care about what people thought. I couldn't care about how slow it was, even when I'm facing possible electric being shut off. I know that there's a fight, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm here to tell you, you must jump into the personal fight first to develop this so that you can press forward and you can have results. The idea of production, you can't even measure production if you have no results. You just can't. But what you can do, everyone here, is you can go to fight for what it is you say you desire. If you say, well, I've got my vision board, I want to make sure that my family has these specific needs met, well, you go to fight for it. For me, that means I'm working when others are sleeping. For me, that means I'm working when others are eating and partying and at happy hour. That means I have to say no to birthday parties. I have to say no to this. I'll say yes to my family, my wife and my children. But I'm telling you now, if you call me, I'm not answering. If I'm in the middle of the fight, because I got to grow this. And because of that, I'm so grateful to God that every day I seek out what new book I try to take in new information every day from books, from people who've already been where I'm going, who've already seen success in that arena. And it's been so important for this to happen that I must learn from them every day so I can do a better job. That's why Dr. King's biography means a lot. That's why Gandhi's biography means a lot. That's why letters from Birmingham jail mean a lot. That's why learning everything about these many elections that Abraham Lincoln failed and he still became president. That's why it's important to learn about Alexander the Great. That's why it was important for me to understand what has happened in centuries before, as little countries, small as the state of Pennsylvania, have ruled much of our world. How they've ruled, think about this, how can a country as small as the UK or Great Britain rule India and many other countries? How can France rule so many countries if it's only so big? How can it happen? Well, I needed to know. I want to know how I can achieve more. So I got in my personal fight, and it meant I had to study when other people were playing and watching their Netflixing, when others are surfing Facebook. I had to learn to produce in that manner. What are you going to do? When are you going to go to the fight when you're going to get punched by what people think? You're going to get punched. Somebody's going to take a knife out and swing at you while you're in that fight for the people you love. You better start building your brain and you stop just grabbing a quote that you take from someone else and posting it. Read, learn, put some substance in your mind so you can become more. The fight for production begins with the personal fight. Then you can look at possibly, as you're growing, you're only responsible for one thing. You're not responsible for growing your team in areas that you haven't grown. What have you learned? Whatever you've learned, spill yourself out to your team to do it. If you just learned today, I learned how to set up my profile in my account. Well, I'm going to do a training on that. I'm going to call one by one if I don't want to be public. I will call them one by one and tell them, hey, look what I just learned. I learned how to set my profile up so that my autoresponder will work. I'm not even a techie, but I did this. Here's how you do it. Oh, by the way, you didn't know this. I just got it. I got it finally. I signed up my first person for the full bronze level. Now, I want to show you guys. You just started with me. I'm going to teach you tomorrow. Join me on a Zoom. I'm going to show you how I did it and how you can do it. The personal fight starts with you, and you get to really demonstrate this for your team when you watch us now, when you begin to teach how you thought through it. The fight for production is essential. If you didn't know it here, I fight for production on your behalf before you ever joined. Before you ever joined, I missed sleep. staying on third shift with my crew as they put it together, as they're getting ready to unveil some of our updates this week. Fighting. I'm on a Zoom today with you because that's the team fight. I'm on a Zoom earlier today with legislatures and people like that because I'm in the team fight. I'm on a Zoom tonight with the accounting team because that's a team fight. But I first have to grow me to get on those. I have another one for leaders. That's a whole separate team fight. I was on this morning with Uganda as a part of the team fight. I can't get on those Zooms. I can't get into the team fight unless I'm not in my personal fight growing me. Do you get what I'm saying? If you got what I'm saying, type it in number 2. I really want to know that you understand that you're not going to get there passively, not mean caring. You got to go to work and go to fight for your people. The fight back, be tough. It's okay. Some things you can't do by being passive. Some things you just can't do. Sometimes you have to ruffle feathers on behalf of the people you love. Sometimes for your team, because they mean so much to you, you have to get in the CEO's face and tell them what you have to have. Fight. Someone is taught that fighting is wrong. No, you're alive because you fought for it. Think about when you were just a sperm cell fighting for only one made it. You fought your way there. You got hungry as an infant. You screamed fighting to stay alive. I'm hungry. You better feed me. There's nothing wrong with fighting. It's natural. But the kind of fight, you want constructive fights. And I'm telling you now, you want financial success. You want the outcomes of productions. You can't get that without fighting. Go to work personally. Go fight personally. Then fight on behalf of the people you love. As I told you, it made it easy to forget about what I look like. It made it easy not to care that I'm not 6'6" and 7, right? It makes it easy because I'm in a fight. I'm in a fight that I can't be conscientious of me. I'm fighting for the people I love most. I'm fighting for this team so them and their families can move forward. Those single parents who are part of my team. Those who are alone. They're already in their middle ages. They have no spouse. They have no children. They're all by themselves. I'm fighting for them. That's the kind of fighting that has to happen if you're going to produce. I didn't even get to the meat and potatoes yet. Now, I like to fight for the outcomes. How do you fight for the outcomes, Dwayne? Well, while I'm fighting, hey, is he knocked out yet? Did I get him? Is his lip bleeding? Let me check some more. Huh? I have to check for the outcome. You have to learn to measure this stuff. Fight, and check it out. Did I get him? Did we get another sign up? Huh? Did I make any more Bitcoin today? What? What's happening? What's going on? Did somebody call Sally today? Make sure she's here. Huh? I haven't seen her a couple of days. I know she just lost her husband a couple of days ago. I want to make somebody check on her. Huh? We fight for the outcomes because we're measuring. We're evaluating. We're not just swinging. Some of us have so much energy. All we're doing is swinging. We're not evaluating. Others of us, we're just busy and we're mistaking busyness for production. Busyness is not production. Busyness is busyness. Productivity. You want to get to the top without it, good luck. Many have tried only to get to the top and slide right back down the hill. So how are you going to get it? You're going to start off by fighting for it. And you fight in the mirror. The person you put makeup on or shave, that person. That's the person you're going to start with. You're going to start the fight right there. Some of you today, you don't fight enough. You fight harder for Netflix and Amazon Prime than you do for growing your brain so you can be ready to produce outcomes. You don't know what's wrong. You get 4 to 6 hours a week or a day in entertaining your brain, and you can't understand why your outcomes don't match what you want. Instead, they're matching all right. They're matching your entertainment. They're not matching the financial desires because you didn't go in the right fight. Choose your fight, ladies and gentlemen, so you can personally fight and fight on behalf of your team and fight for the right outcome. I'll keep going. There's self-production. And self-production is essential. So you went to fight for it. So now that you fought for it, you secured your perimeter. Now you're ready for self-production. Here's what that looks like. It starts with the task you give yourself. I know it sounds crazy. I talk to you guys about this a lot. In Colombia, here in Florida, in Pennsylvania, I have these different journals that I create. Everything that I do, if you can see my screen, I think I should, no, I'm not going to leave the screen. If you can see my screen, I have these books, my journals. Every night, I give myself before I go to sleep, everything I'm going to do the next day is already mapped out. I don't like random. I will tolerate random, rarely, but I will. I like purpose. Because it's important for me to produce more in a day than most people produce in a week. It's certainly more important for me to produce more in a week than most will produce in a month. And I can't get there if I live like everybody else. So I don't want to live like anybody else. I want to produce like no one else. And the way to do that is to do it on purpose. Type in the letter P for purpose. I want you to get this. You have to do it on purpose. I am my boss. You get that? Me. And I'm hard on myself. So I give myself a lot of work. I'm not concerned with the number of hours. I'm not concerned with my lunch break. I give myself the tasks that are needed for my productivity the next day. Here's what that looks like. What are the top 3 things that have to be done tomorrow? I know that's already in writing. It's already in my task list on my mobile device, right? It's already in my journal. What is that? Who are the contacts that have to be contacted and met with the next day? When I go to sleep, when I wake up, my boss already has my work waiting for me, and it starts popping up on my phone. I kind of take the stuff, what you would consider to be religiously. Let me go ahead and get out here so I can find it here. Today. And my task list, which you probably can't see here, you probably won't. I don't know how to aim at the camera. It's loaded up. And I can tell you, by this time of day, I don't know how many Zooms or phone calls I've had, or how many documents had to be signed and sent out, but I don't want it to catch me off guard. Somebody said, well, I don't understand. How you said you had a couple businesses. How you do all that and you're doing this? How could you be on a Zoom when I how you do? I do it because, first of all, I go to fight for my production. I fight. I know how to say no to those things that want to steal my time. I fight on behalf of the people I'm serving. It's easy for me. Then I fight for the outcomes. So now when it gets to self-production, it helps me to watch this now. It clarifies where that focus should be. So when I give myself the assignments, I know exactly what, who, when, where, why. If you don't do it yet, you want to start that. Everybody here, if you've got a mobile phone, you actually have yourself in a task list. It comes with, if you're not downloading an app that gives it to you. We weren't meant to be dogs, puppies, kittens. Animals live. We're the highest food ever made. We're not animals. We are humans. I know they like to sell you that bill of goods because they know you'll buy it. People that don't read buy everything because they don't know any better. I'm telling you now, it's not true. Find an animal who can communicate at multiple different levels by writing, sign language, song, right? We are created. We're the only form of life that's meant to we create from nothing. We are made in the image of God. If you don't know, if I can't tell you anything else, I got to tell you that. Or productivity is going to be more of just like going through the motions. You can do this. You're not an animal. An animal has to wait for a smell or a sound to decide what to do. Not you. No, sir. Not you. An animal has no idea what to do the next day. It has to wait to see how the moon and the stars are aligned. But you can actually have purpose. You can have a roadmap, and you can actually control it. You can't blame everybody else for everything that's going wrong in your life. I don't care who's president. It doesn't matter. What are you doing? What are you doing for yourself? I don't care who abused you, because all of us have gone through some form of abuse. If it wasn't parental, if it wasn't sexual, if it wasn't political, if it wasn't racial, everybody's had some form of mistreatment. So what are you going to do? I'm going to go put my camera on and talk to you for a second. As I turn these things off. I have to ask you, who has fought for you? Who you know for sure has fought for themselves for production? I know people don't talk about it. Production, and you know what kills me? I can tell an unproductive person is typically a whiner and a complainer. You ever notice that? People that do all the whining and complaining are the ones who produce or contribute little. High demands and low expectations on themselves. You want to be a productive person? Seek first to understand and then to seek first to understand and then to be understood. I don't get it. I don't understand it. How we can get lost. How you can really believe that because you're a woman, you don't have as good of an opportunity as someone else. I don't understand that. In this, granted, years ago that was true. But we're all without excuse now. Technology has leveraged so much. Information about anything is available at everyone's fingertips. Did you know that when I was a boy, if I wanted to know what the White House looked like, I'd have to go to the encyclopedia. If I wanted to understand what exactly went on with the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Red Fort, Taj Mahal, if I wanted to learn about its history, I had to go to the encyclopedia. Everyone today can get any information right on their phone. And we have more excuses than anybody. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You want to succeed? You got to choose. Do I want to survive or do I want to thrive? Because we are humans. We do get a choice. If you're going to thrive, you better be willing to pay the price, which means, there are people who died for what they wanted. Are you at that point yet? If not, you better start surviving because that's the easy way out. Just get enough. And by the way, if I didn't tell you this, I'm going to tell you now. It's a very selfish thing. It's a very selfish thing to only want to get enough to make sure that you and your family can eat. That's a very selfish thing for a human being to say. What are you going to do? What will you do? That's my question. Well, it's fixed on you. Good. Okay. What will you do? I'm asking each of you here to insist on productivity. I didn't finish what I'm talking about, but it can simply start by you assigning yourself. Be your own boss. Everybody writes it. I'm my own boss. One guy fired his boss. Another gal, she said that that's it. From now on, she's the boss. If you're really the boss, what have you given yourself to do? Are you acting like a boss with yourself? Or are you being a pansy with yourself? How many hours did you spend surfing today when you act like you want to be wealthy? How many hours this past week did you spend Netflixing? How much partying did you do? So here's the deal. I'm going to get back to the slides, but I had to bring this jelly to the lower shelf. There's far too many celebrations before you accomplish anything. Now listen, I'm going to tell you, I'm a person of color. And because we came from so little, we celebrated as often as we could. So it was all about celebrating. But when I became an entrepreneur, I learned that I had to put the celebration aside until the game was over. When I've accomplished what I want, I can celebrate. But to celebrate in the end zone for those football players, we celebrate in the end zone when you're already behind by 3/4. And listen, if you said you need to reach independence from your wealth standpoint, and you're celebrating before you get there, and you're celebrating by buying yourself the fanciest car, you're celebrating by never saying no to entertainment, you're celebrating by getting a 10,000 square foot home before you've actually established it, you've just created a greater enslavement trap. And for coming from a person who's just 3 or 4 generations from slavery, I'm going to tell you now, I don't know that there's a greater enslavement that we as human beings have put on ourselves than this thing of needing to be entertained, needing to be pacified, and needing to have someone be the blame or be what's wrong with us. I come from my grandmother was the daughter of a slave, right? And she was she would not let me have excuses. My parents would not let us have excuses. And I'm going to tell you something today. You want to build wealth? You can follow all the gurus that will tell you just buy one product and you're going to get there. And you can fall for that. Or you can be responsible. Create your productivity. Create it. Be faithful over what little bit you know and create it. Be faithful over the little bit you know. And that's what we're talking about here. So I'm going to get back to it because I got distracted because I was very much, well, I guess I wanted to get back to it. I need to. 1 second. I have to show my slides. Holla back, baby. Okay, here we go. Ecam Plus. Let me know when you can see it. Can you see my slides, folks?
Yes.
Okay, self-production. Give yourself the task. And to me, I recommend you could keep it simple. You don't have to buy journals like I do, but I haven't. Anything I've accomplished from starting radio stations, TV stations, running nonprofits, and that stuff, it's always been in my journals. I can look back and evaluate my productivity in case I want to get depressed. I can say, look what difference you've made. Look at these people's lives you've changed in this country, that country. I can do that because I charted the course. I didn't live like a German Shepherd who needs to smell if another dog's in heat or not, or needs to smell some chicken or hear a sound. I'm not an animal. I'm a human being, and I can make the conscious choice for thriving through the work and the productivity, which I'm inviting you to be a part of. Give yourself the task. Well, what else, Dwayne? I'm glad you've asked. Let's get to it. The timing of your task. Isn't it interesting that we take things like food and we take a model and say, oh, it's 12 o'clock. I got to get some lunch. When really we should be eating when we're hungry. But it's 12 o'clock. We find things to put time on. Oh, shoot, it's 6 o'clock. The game starts. Oh, it's morning. Okay, I better get my coffee. I better go out and turn the sprinklers on. We create timing for other things in our life that don't rank in priority. But when it comes to our business, we're so random. Why don't you be a good boss and give yourself a time? Give yourself some actual targets. What time are you going to do it? Well, I'm going to make sure I do this by 3 o'clock. Do it by 9 p.m. I need to speak with this leader. I need to talk with this one. Organize yourself. Don't just organize. Some of you are so organized in your schedule when you entertain and when your movies and your games come on. You need to transfer this to your business. And stop blaming your upline. Stop blaming your downline. Stop blaming the companies that you get involved with and step up and do some real business. Put a time on it. You know, as Beyonce Knowles has said, if you like it, put a ring on it. I'm telling you, if you really like it, if you're serious about this business, put a time on it. Then, the measuring of your completion. At the end of the day, if there's something that was important on my list that didn't get done, if there's 3 things that didn't get done, guess where they go? Anyone want to guess? If there's 2 or 3 things that didn't get done on today's list and it's already nighttime, what happens to those things? Do I just delete them? They get on the next list with an asterisk, and I might have to start there. Do you get that you can't get here unless you start off where I began? Watch this now. Where did I begin? I told you to fight for it in a personal fight. You have to fight because there's so many things pulling at you. Friends, relatives, TV shows, games, finances. You're in a personal fight. You can't schedule things for yourself and get them done if you're not a fighter. I'm telling you now tonight, if you've been pushed around, draw a line in the sand and say no more. You can't push me around. You go to work. You fight for it. Say, no. I won't be there. I'm not going to be in that meeting. I didn't finish my task. I'm going for it. Your cousin who you ain't seen in 5 years said, "Can you come to my party? I'm gonna have a gender reveal, or we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Guess what? Sorry, I love you. I'll send the card, but I can't go. I'm in a fight for my life." You see, when you do it this way, You'll be such a greater blessing to the people you love that you're saying no to because you have the resources to say yes to the things that are much more important to them. Ooh, I said it. Get in the fight for your team because things are pulling at you, right? If you're living random and accidentally, no wonder your results are sporadic, inconsistent. There's not been the fight for it. So you fight for it, fight for the outcomes. And that makes it easier when you give yourself tasks because you fought for it, you gave yourself positioning. You're willing to take a punch in the jaw and go all out for this. Now, the timing and the measuring, if I didn't get it done, it will get done. Could you imagine if you have a list of just 5 to 10 things and you did this for 1 week? Do you realize at the end of 1 week, if you have 5 things, that means you got 35 things completed that you could measure. What do you think that does for your confidence and your posture? What do you think it does when there's results attached to those things? Do you have any idea? If you have 10 things on your list, watch how powerful this is. At the end of 7 days, you have 70 things you've knocked out. It is mathematically impossible for you not to be closer to the end result you're looking for. Now I'm going to take a second and see if did that make sense to you? You can tell me verbally because I'm not going to change the screen yet. You can unmute yourself.
Yes,
Is this helpful for you?
it's very helpful.
Okay. Is there anything about it that stands out? Did you have a comment or a question before I continue?
I'm good.
Good. You sure are. You good at what you do, man. Okay. All right. So here we go. Self-production. What else? There's target production. Isn't it interesting that we have a lot of people who love vision boards? We love to give ourselves goals. I gotta get to 10, 20,000 a month. I mean, there's not even any what word am I looking for? There's not any method to that madness. You're just coming with a number. Oh, yeah, 50,000 sounds good. I'm gonna get to $50,000 a month. Boy, we better get to some target production. All those tasks you're hitting all week, they should be leading you closer to a target. Anything that's not getting you closer to your target, you take off the list. Don't you put something there that has no meaning if it's not a part of you getting to the end result. The aim is essential. Watch how this works. If I'm looking to make sure I have all 4 of my people this week, right? I want personally 4 people sponsored. Any activity that's not getting me closer is eliminated from my activity. I want to be an only income producing activity. So if my friend invites me to their Zoom, somebody wants me to go and help with them to go look at the new car they're going to buy. If in fact I've been invited to happy hour, I already know that is not, look, I'm not even close to my target. I'm going to get to my target. I'm only going to include in my activity the things that are going to get me there. Period. Now, sounds like if it's the aim on my list, I better have 4 to 10 people to talk to each day. So I might want to put them on the list. So on my task for the day, I'm going to put, call John about my opportunity, send them the link and the video, and call them after. Call Mary, call Susan, call Eric. I get them all on. I'm going to make sure every day I'm going to have different ones on there. Trust me, at the end of 7 days, I will have numbers because I will not be in non-income producing activities. I'll be involved in the aim from the beginning. My first sergeant taught me when I was in the military. He says, Golden, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. Every time. And I'm here to tell you, you can begin to hit what you're aiming at. That is some of the best productivity you could ever have. You begin with the end in mind. So, let me ask you a question. If you're not looking to go to the military, why would you go take the ASVAB test? If you're not looking for a date, right, why are you becoming a member of a dating site? It doesn't make sense, right? But if you're in business and looking to create an income, why would you jump on board looking for an income when you're doing activities that have nothing to do with the income? Put the right things in the list so that you can have proper aim, so you can hit your target. Now I can do you plus 2, them plus 2 very easily. I'm also going to put on the task, work with the 2 that I have so they can get their 2. I'm going to help them. I'm going to teach them what I did to get them. And I'll even take a call or two from their people after they've seen the presentation. I'm going to do that. I will put it in the list. Target production. If you aim at nothing, you'll hit it. If you aim at fun, you'll get it. If you aim at Netflix, you'll enjoy it. Huh? If you aim at happy hour, right, you're going to get a buzz. But if you want to aim at getting an income, why don't you have some income producing activity and improve your aim? If you got that, type in number 5. You see, when you have target production, you have proficiency in your production. You're not just accomplishing more throughout the week and becoming a proficient person, but you also become proficient in your outcomes. It gets to be now you're accomplishing the things that you say you accomplish. You're getting to a point where you say, well, this week, I'm looking for it. I'm going to make $1,450. I'm going to make X amount of dollars. You will find that the proficiency now, you're more likely to get there because you're using productivity, target production. You're proficient because you're now doing things that are going to get you closer, not just randomly doing things. This is what bothers me about busyness. It amazes me. Someone says they want this, but they have all this busy activity that ain't getting them closer to that. My excitement isn't disappointment or anger. My excitement is that I love this stuff because I know it works. And you can do it. Be proficient. Be proficient. How can you be proficient? Improve your aim. How can I improve my aim? Let's make sure you're the boss. Give yourself the things to do to get you closer to your target. Ooh-wee. That's good stuff, Dwayne. The arrows. The bullets. And the other things that you're shooting to the target, these things matter in the production. If you're in a home business, which you are, what are your arrows? Now, I've made this clear to many of you. If your arrow is your mouth, you're not going to be proficient. You're going to be exhausted and you're going to be frustrated. If the way you get people into your business, you have to talk to them all and talk their ear off, you're going to be very disappointed. You won't do so well, unfortunately. Your arrows have got to be things that will create proficiency, which means instead of talking to everyone, send someone to something that will talk to them. You talk to them after they've witnessed it. Then you can see what it takes for them to get moving from that point where they get started. This will assist you. This is an area where I think we have to talk. Talk to me. What questions do you have about this part? Because that may not be clear. It may be too ambiguous. Let me bring it home for you. If there are any questions or comments. Do you understand what I'm talking about here with this section? Oh, I may have lost everybody. Are you guys here?
Now let me say something. So the arrows that you talk about as far as creating something would be like your pages or your funnels and things like that would be the arrows that would be created to get people to do something versus me telling them about the company.
Right. If you are the witness for your company, you have to tell them, you have to become an expert on what it is and how it works and all that stuff. You only have so much time in a day, and it might take 45 minutes to an hour to do that. Right? So that's an arrow, but it's not a proficient arrow. The most proficient arrow is something that will tell the consistent message. See, if you tell someone, you're going to change it every time you tell them. It's a fact. Every time you talk to someone, it's going to have a little bit different spin. And usually it's going to have the things that are important to you and exciting to you. You should send them to a video, something that presents it for you. That's an arrow or a bullet. Then after they've seen it, that's when you talk to. That's when you do the talking. You do the talking before. It makes no sense. You should do the talking after they've witnessed it. They don't go to a Zoom or send them to a video. You have landing pages that has this information on it. Once someone's witnessed it and they viewed it, that's when you talk to them. That will improve your conversions. That will also improve your outcome, but it improves your proficiency because now you have less work, you're less frustrated. You have more time in the day, more time for more people, which means if you do it the way I'm talking about, you can talk to 1,000 people throughout the week without ever talking to them. You certainly can talk to at least 10 to 20 of them. But if you do it the way, the improficient way, where you have talked to everyone, you might talk to 7 to 10 people in an entire week, and only one would join you, if that. The difference is proficiency. And did that clear? Was that helpful? Or does that make sense to you?
That made a lot of sense.
Okay. Target production. Now the accuracy. The accuracy becomes a byproduct. You become more accurate in everything you produce. Trust me, you're in business because you want to produce an outcome. The idea of producing the outcome without being productive is not likely. The idea of producing an outcome because you desire to is unfortunately not enough. You actually have to intentionally do this stuff. That's why I did this type of presentation today, so you can get it. This is where the rubber meets the road. So you have to have resolve. Every fighter has a resolve. I'm fighting to win. My personal resolve is I'm going all out. There is no going back. I'm not going back to work for someone else. I'm not going backwards. I'm done. I'm in this thing. I represent my children, my grandchildren. I represent generations to come. I cannot stop. I'm going forward. Hey, isn't it interesting that the greatest leaders of history went forward even if it meant their life was over? It was that important. People accomplish more when they have resolve. It's just a fact. And so you need a personal resolve. How serious are you about this? Are you resolved enough that as soon as someone sends you an inbox message, that you're just going to send them a message that you're just going to join another thing and keep joining new things? Or are you just going to put your foot down and say, I'm done. I'm going all out now, and I'm not stopping until I come up with the answers, until I come up with results. It takes resolve to be productive. I'm that person. I have a lot of resolve. I had to make up in leverage and resolve what I lacked in height and weight and strength. It's the one thing that gave me an even playing field when I compete against others who are in the same arena. Personal resolve. You must have personal resolve to the tune of, oh shoot, it's already 4 o'clock and I didn't eat dinner yet. I didn't even eat breakfast. I'm still moving. I have to take some time and do it soon, but I have so much resolve that right now I can't quit yet. Resolve. Then you need team resolve. It means you have to cast this vision before your team members. Here's where we're going. We didn't just do this for a month. Let's go in. Let's give it 1 year. Let's say 1 year. Let's go all out. Let's see, can we produce this multiple 6 and 7 figures that we talked about? Team resolve. Don't you force your team members. Let them see you burn up on fire so they can want to burn with you. Let them see that resolve so they can mimic it. It's not enough to tell someone to be something you're not willing to be. And they know if you have resolve. If you're pitching them this program in the morning, Ether and Tron at night, no wonder they don't have resolve because you don't have it either, right? You have to really land the plane, ladies and gentlemen. If the guy asks you, he says he loves you, wants to marry you in the morning, and he's dating another woman at night, you're just going to have to see that he doesn't have that much resolve for the thing, right? Just doesn't. Number 3, in resolve. The outcome resolve. You notice how I always keep putting outcome? Production is all about outcome. You're producing an outcome. Can't stop talking about it. You always have a resolve to have the outcome. If you're producing and you're getting the outcome and it's not the desired one, you have resolve until you do. You keep moving forward. This is where the rubber meets the road. So now, the evolution of production looks like this. Daily, you must be able to look. If you're doing what I've told you, you're seeing differences every day. Yesterday I accomplished 3 or 4 things, and look at already. I've already progressed. I've moved forward. You get to start seeing the evolution daily. You get to see it each week and each month, and it's astronomical. When you start looking at yourself beside your peers, and you're a producer, guess what happens? It's drastic. You never have to say it. You never have to brag. It's just evident in your outcomes, in your results. People say, well, how do you do that? How do you have so many things? How are you able to do so many things? They'll start asking you. They're blown away. They didn't know it's something that's feasible for them too. This is the most important part. This is the most exciting part of being a productive person. The outcome speaks so loud you never have to tell a person anything. It screams from your very fingertips. What you become in the process, it's never a standstill. It's changing all the time. You're just getting better all the time. You're producing. You're fighting for that production. You're actually developing for that production. You are getting there. And that, my friend, leaves you among your peers, high above the rest. And now, recruiting is not a process. It's not difficult anymore because of what you've been becoming. People can't help it. They want to be a part of it. This is what I've experienced. I don't know what you're doing. I just know I need some of it. I need to be a part of that. You get to be that if you could start producing. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight or today, this afternoon, you deserve to be a person of productivity. I'm going to ask you as we sit here. Let me go ahead and get my screen back. Oh, I guess I can do that too. Oh, good, yeah. So I'm going to ask you, are you ready to produce? And if you are, to what end? How serious are you about this? If you're going to produce, you're going to need to be without excuse. You're going to need to be a fighter, man or woman. You're going to need to be a fighter. Someone who fights for what you believe in so much, it doesn't matter who's president or who's your mayor of your town is. It doesn't matter who's doing what. You know who you are. You are a producer. The only way to stop you from producing is to kill you. That's what. Are you that person? If you are, certainly I'd love to hear from you. What is it you're looking for today? Can you do it? Do you see that you can do it? Are you that person? Someone says, I know, without a doubt. Okay, well. You cannot resolve the team without being personal. Yes, okay, good stuff, guys. I'm all in no matter what. Whoa, Dorothy, too legit to quit. Okay, and Hammer's here. Moving forward no matter what. Okay. I am my own boss. I move forward with strength. Okay, Ayoko. Okay. Great plan. Set your goals beforehand. Oh, yes. I would never lay my head to sleep if I didn't know what I was doing the next day. I've lived like an animal before, and I got paid like it. I won't do that anymore. Any verbal feedback from you guys? Great stuff. I learned when I lived like everybody else, I got paid like everybody else, and I don't ever want to go back to that again in my life. Not that it's about money, but I was created for a purpose, and I can't live in that purpose if I'm like everybody else. When we're like that, when we're like sheep, unfortunately, we're so far away from our purpose, and you deserve to live in it. So, figure I'd share that with you. I am taking notes. Thank you. My pleasure, my dear. Okay.
Have a good day. Sure.
If there are no questions or comments, we can end it. We don't even have to take a full hour.
Sure.
Okay. You guys are fantastic. If there are no questions.
Sean wants to ask you a question. He keeps saying Sean. I think Sean wants to ask you a question.
Oh, yes, Sean, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying sure.
Hey, not really a question. Just in thanks, and I just admire you for everything you for us and for everyone as a matter of fact. It just takes the personal, the individual to, just sit and look at themselves and see what needs to be done and do the right thing.
Yes. Sean, what I love the most about where we are in the world today, it's independent of the country we live in. It's independent of our political affiliation. It's independent of our race or gender. It's independent of so many things. We all have, the beautiful thing is if you're breathing, in your life today, you have a mental capacity. You literally have more control than you know. All of us have the ability. We have the resources available to do it, even without money. And I'm here to tell you guys, shamelessly would tell you, as an entrepreneur, as my family, we've lost our home. We had no heat. I had to go out and cut trees to get us enough to stay warm. I've been there. We started over 3 times in my life. And I'm telling you, I prefer that over anything else. I'm willing to fight for it. And because of that resolve, the Lord has blessed with outcomes that are directly proportionate to the input. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
So, what will you do with it? I ask each of you today.
Perfect sense. Very wise. Very, very, very wise.
Who's talking?
Dorothy.
Oh, thank you, Dorothy.
Hi.
Hi, how are you, dear?
Yeah, I am so excited about Ingresso Cybernetical. I tell you, I have a huge team build in WhatsApp, and I see Oroku is on here. Way to go, dude! Thanks for being on here. He is serious. He is a true team leader. Yeah, I'm helping my people get their people, and we are knocking it out.
Let me say something here too, as far as productivity. So you saw me talk about you guys about leading, producing, your with your team and fighting for your team and things like that. Let me tell you something. What's not fighting? I'm gonna tell you guys to make this clear. I know it's common practice. There are several practices I want you all. If anybody's doing it, I want you to eliminate it. It's not good. It's not ethical. It doesn't make any sense. So I may make you feel uncomfortable, but it's because I care. Get this. If someone makes a post on the internet and they're on your team, it is unethical to go and pretend that you want to join it. You're already in. Don't do that. If no one responds, no one responds. You will understand later why I say that. But you deserve to know that that is not the right way to do this. You want to take the high road on everything you do if you want your business to be sustained long term. So trust me, you don't want to do that. The second thing is, if you guys are saying you're helping people because you're giving people away, you're teaching them the opposite of what's going to help them be successful. You're helping people to stay in poverty. If you're doing it for them and you're giving them away, that is not the right. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you this, everyone here, because I know it happens and I want to help you. The best thing you can do to help me is show me how and get out of the way. Don't do it for me. Don't you sign some up and give it to me. You tell me how to do it, show me, and let me do it. That'll make me better. I'll make more money for me and you if you do that. You want to hurt me? Go ahead. Give me your people. You want to really hurt me? Make me give you my people. It's ugly. It is not business at all. And if you're doing it, don't feel bad. Change the behavior. Because if you're doing those things, all the production you're going to create, you're going to sabotage with bad practices. You want good practice, good healthy practices in a business of your team. That's all. So, and I hope you guys understand it's just a way to do it. If you're doing it, it's not personal. You just need to do it better. And the way to do it is to have a good, ethical, moral foundation behind your decisions.
Thank you, Dwayne.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for today.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. And I hope.
Yeah, thank you very much.
My pleasure. You guys have a great day. God bless you. I have to run.
So,
I'm between meetings.
Before you run, I have a little complaint.
Who's here? Who's talking?
Arako.
Rocco. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, regarding the autoresponder setup, when it comes to the ethics profile on my dashboard. So I tried doing it and it kept saying that my number has to be put in numbers. But I don't get it. I inputted my number without my country code first.
Rocco, on this Zoom is for leadership deal, so why don't you do this? Send that to me in my inbox, right? And then I will log in and I'll talk to you in your Facebook inbox or something. Okay, I don't want to do that here. But it's just easy. It's an easy thing. It's probably something simple that I'll be able to help you with, okay? Just give me your username when you give it to me, and I'll look at it and tell you what you're doing different that needs to be changed, okay?
Should I message you? Okay.
Yeah, please do. God bless you guys. Have a good day.
All right, peace.
Keep playing.
You bet. My pleasure. See ya.